9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Drag racing fan, CompetitionPlus.com, Competition Plus TV, live to you, the CompetitionPlus.com Power Hour. And what a powerful weekend drag racing did have across this land, especially down there for the NHRA Gator Nationals. I'm Lee Kraft, the Monday Morning Racer, looking forward to chatting drag racing with you tonight. Make sure you hit the like button and hit the share button as we go along in the Power Hour. I'm not doing it by myself. Good to have with me tonight Darren Williams Jr., a.k.a. American Hot Rod Entertainment, a.k.a. Assistant Editor for CompetitionPlus.com, a.k.a. I don't know what else to add, but there's a plenty.
Just keep going. Just keep going. I'm liking it. Just keep going. Just keep going. I love it.
Good do that. Darren, it is good to see you. You had an opportunity to be at the Gator Nationals. You missed out on being at the Gator Nationals, though. Looking on, I imagine you wish you were there, buddy.
You had to bring it up, huh?
I did.
Just like the Gator Nationals hasn't been kind to Erica Enders the past few years, I have not been able to find my way to get to the Gator Nationals the past few years. It's been tough, but man, what a way to kick off the 2023 NHRA season. I mean, the fans came out in droves. Obviously, they always do when it's Gainesville, but the on-track action-packed, it was great, man, and I'm ready to break it down. It was awesome.
For sure. And by the way, we have some assistance, some help from Peak Auto on this show and across the board with CompetitionPlus.com. I think the Peak top performer, if you will, has to go to the fans of the NHRA. They showed up, especially Saturday. What an insane crowd Saturday for the Gator Nationals. I heard from hour, 2 hour, 3 hours in traffic to get in, and I can tell you it's the most challenging time I have ever tried to walk through a drag racing crowd. Like, dude, the only space to make any room was that no man's land between the porta potties and the people waiting to use the porta potty. You could shoot through there and make up some time, but everywhere else there was line on top of line, people cutting. It was wild. Good day for NHRA drag racing.
Have you noticed whenever you do that at any sporting event where there's like a long line, you shoot through there, they always think like, man, are you trying to cut me or what? They always give you that look.
No, I'm not trying to cut. I got to get to A to B. And instead of going A to B, I'm going A, then C, D, E,
But man, I'll tell you what, I watched on NHRA.TV this past weekend, packed to the fullest. You talk about the grandstands, and then on the fence, they were like 5-6 rows deep on the fence. I'll tell you what, it was just an awesome way. Like I said, awesome way to kick off the 2023 NHRA season. And you said, the peak high performers should go to the fans, but on the racetrack, the peak high performer award should go to Mr. Gage Herrera, number 1 qualifier, low ET, top speed, back-to-back 668s in qualifying, 6.70 second passes and eliminations. His slowest pass of the day was a 674, flat out waxed the field in eliminations on Sunday. Gage Herrera, I think, should be your peak high performer at the Gator Nationals.
I think that's fitting, making a debut for Vanston Hine, nabbing a crown jewel major in the sport of drag racing. Yeah. That is huge. And that is why tonight he will be on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Gaige Herrera will be our second guest. The first guest of the night will be Funny Car Chaos owner Chris Graves. Looking forward to chatting to them both here on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Well, the Gator Nationals was absolutely epic. You mentioned something, though, that has certainly, I think, been strange concerning the Gator Nationals is Erica Enders cannot perform here recently at this major event. She has a record performance last year, but goes out round 1. This year, strange. Car would not fire. I mean, it was turning. Apparently, as it was described, it was turning, but it would not give fire, and they roll it back to the pits, and apparently it fired right up. So, like, what do you say? What do you do in that situation?
And then I heard when it got back to the pits, the car started right up.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's like, what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do? That's drag racing, right?
That is drag racing. You never know. That's why we do not race them on paper, ladies and gentlemen. You never know who is going to win. And on Heartbreak, wow, I can't help but think of Dave Richards and the Paul Richards Racing team. They couldn't get the funny car to back up. They shut it off. They're like, no, we're not going to make the run. And John Force goes out there and almost wads it up as sideways as he was, but the wily old veteran keeps it straight and brings it back in. But wow, that probably would have been a round win for the Richards gang.
You see back there all the John Force memorabilia I have in the background. Obviously, it's no secret that I am a John Force fan, but on the show I got to be biased. I can't show my fandom that much on the show. But yeah, round one, John Force, he got that thing sideways, smoking the tires. But you mentioned it on the show Sunday. At his age, to still be able to catch it as quick as he did and pedal that race car, I mean, goes to show John Force still has it behind the wheel of that race car.
He certainly does still have it. What a great showing for Coletta as well. We all have been looking for Coletta to have a good day. And other than Sean, which had great performance last year, and certainly we'll see him perform later on this year, Doug better, J.R. Todd to a final, and they had it hopped up and they were ready to go out there and win it. They blew it.
Yeah, J.R. Todd last one on tour was the 2021 Gator Nationals, and what's ironic about that is 2021 we started the season in Gainesville that year, so J.R. trying to kind of go back to back there, but still all around great performance for that DHL Toyota. Got it to the final round, had great performance all day long. Just in the final round, they were hungry. Hey, J.R. Todd was out on them. Just unfortunately, when it got to about half track, it blew it up, and like I said, it done blowed up, and Hagen got the win. Great win for Hagen. Back-to-back wins at the Gator Nationals, but you talk about Doug Coletta, Alan Johnson, Brian Houston. 364 in round number one during those killer conditions, low ET of the event. I said, we kind of, I'll be honest, as drag racing community as a whole, we kind of was like, hey, what's up with Coletta and AJ? They didn't perform to how we thought they would last year. Coming out strong here this year. They're here to show everybody we're going to go out there, run strong, and win races.
He didn't win in Pro Stock, but I would have to hand this man a gumption award of some type. Mason McGahey drove that car. He pedaled that Pro Stocker trying to get that win, which Troy Coughlin Jr. went on to nab there at the Gator Nationals. What an impressive job by Mason, but ultimately the champion is Mr. Coughlin. And maybe we're seeing with what he did last year and now an early start, putting a win under his belt, another Coughlin rising to prominence as Coughlins are known to be in the world of drag racing.
For sure. And just going back to McGahey, that team, that car, not the dominant performance car you would think in Pro Stock, but still made it to the final round. McGahey's lights wasn't as spectacular as I thought it was, but he stepped up in the semifinals against Greg Anderson. I believe it was an 019. You have to go back and check, but really stepped up. And you talk about in that final round, even though that car made a hard, I think it was a hard right or a hard left in the final, he still was driving that thing, trying to get it to his first career win. A win is coming very soon for Mason McGahey. But like you said, for Troy Coughlin Jr., jigs. I love doing that. But they say, once you win that first one, the rest just keep on coming. And that's what's happening for Troy. Great to see it. And hopefully he can continue this momentum. I love it.
And I'm going to say this concerning Top Fuel, and I'm going to take the full screen, Darren, really quickly. Rob Flynn was not the problem.
No, he was not. No, he was not. What a great Top Fuel final that was, too, between Steve Torrance and Mike Salinas. Top end at the stripe. Mike Salinas gets the win. 8th career win, starting off the year strong. Points leader. Not the first time he's been points leader in his career, but, man, you talk about it. No sponsor. That team is just – Mike's a scrapper. Rob Flynn's a scrapper. That's a scrappy team, and they scrapped and got that win after – losing in the final round of the Pep Boys All-Star Top Fuel call-out the day before, coming back strong the next day, getting that win. Man, that's I'm excited to see what that team does the rest of the year.
For sure. But, hey, let's not count out the winner of the $80,000 from Pep Boys, Josh Hart. I actually briefly texted with him today, and he's like, yeah, driver sleepy time because of his reaction time there. But as I told him, look, man, you got the car. Whatever y'all have got, you've already got it for this year early on. Watch out for Josh Hart. I would say in the Top Fuel ranks, I was surprised that the likes of Justin Ashley, they were qualified in the middle of the pack. They were not in the higher qualified ranks as they were last year. Certainly, we're going to see that that team come up to speed and be full song before long. But I was surprised to see that.
Yeah, me too. And I'll tell you what, back-to-back days, it was Mike Salinas in the other lane that took him out. First round of the Pep Boys All-Star call-out, and then first round again on Sunday in eliminations. But just going back to first round of Top Field, those killer conditions, how about starting the season with back-to-back hole shots? How about that? I mean, that is awesome. And then 3 hole shots overall. You got Antron taking down Langdon in the first round on a hole shot as well. First round of Top Field was killer. You got Austin Prock taking down Clay Milliken on a hole shot. Tony Schumacher starting off the season, taking down Josh Hart on a hole shot. Man, Top Field is going to be so unpredictable this year. I'm excited, man. You can just see it on my face. Like, I can't wait.
It certainly is. And this first race of the year gave us so much, as we just talked about, whether it is Erica or Tony Schumacher winning in round 1, getting the first win light of the whole entire season. Austin Prock with the weird issue with the throttle stop, whatever was going on, and puking out some contents, and a crew member throwing his jersey off and walking around bare-chested. Robert Height not advancing, just coasting from the starting position with a green light on, watching his competition go straight down Broadway. What an interesting NHRA Gator Nationals it was. It served up everything I think we could ask for as drag racing fans.
And then we talk about the Camping World Series, but then you go to the Lucas Oil Series with Julie Natus and Matt Gill going back-to-back at the Baby Gators and the Gator Nationals. And then what about Pro Mod? Pro Mod stole the show. You talk about burn downs with reigning Pro Mod champion Chris Thorne and Manny Bujinga. Man, I'll tell you what, the MVP, I keep saying that, the MVP of that burn down was the starter. The way he just stood there like, I have all night. I am in no rush, and let them burn down, put on a show for the fans. They were going crazy in the stands. I was going crazy at home. Man, they put on the show. What a race.
Yeah,
and how about Justin Bond getting the win? But yeah, you got it.
Hey, dude, it was wild. And it went long enough that I'm like, guys, look, I'm holding the camera, filming Pro Mod. I'm like, can y'all put it in the beans, please? Because I can't hold the camera any longer. I'm used to filming for 2 minutes tops, and y'all are rolling on to 3-4 minutes. Like, please get this drag race over with.
So have we counted? Have we put on a timer and see how long the actual burn down was? I forgot to do that. Do we know how long?
I would have to do it. I know from what I heard over the tower, PA, they eclipsed 3 minutes. It might have gone 4 minutes.
Wow.
In that burn down. But then, when do you begin recording and timing now we're in this situation? So it has to be when that both pre-stages have gone on. So you got to count it from when the last car pre-stage. That means someone else was already staged before for a little while. So again, a lot of time for high-powered machines on the starting line. But dude, I think everybody in Pro Mod, I don't care who it is. I don't care how bad you think you are in Pro Mod. Don't play games with Chris Thorne. The man will burn you down. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that in the action. He will wait it out, and he will still leave on you. He's done it 3 times now. He's done it to Stevie. He's done it to Ricky. And now he's done it to Manny. Don't do it to Chris Thorne.
You know what's different than all the other times than this time now, right? So this time, like Joe Costello said, when I was watching on NHRA.tv, hey, I'm the reigning world champion. I can do this. I deserve to do this. I can go in last. I ain't got to go in first. Just like John Force. I can go in last.
I got the number 1 on the side of my car, and that don't mean I'm first in.
Yes, there you go. Just like John Force, like, hey, I'm gonna be last to stage. I'm the 16-time world champ.
Oh, by the way, let's not forget Joe Welch sets a speed record in FlexJet factory stock, wins the race, darn near wrecked it in the semifinals. I have never seen someone put that much extra feet on 1320 in a factory stock car and not wad it up. The man drove it, and he probably didn't need to drive it, but he did, and he gets the win. Wow, what a performance. Look, all across the board, Gator Nationals was spectacular. And very quickly, let's go back to the Baby Gators. Doesn't get enough love. Very prestigious regional divisional race. It was stacked, especially in the top alcohol dragster category. 19 cars showed up.
A-fuel. You can say A-fuel. It's okay.
It basically is A-fuel. I know. Yeah. 19 cars. 19 cars showed up for 8 spots. Wow.
And you know who sticks out to me in that field, in both fields? Cody Crone.
What sticks out to me, there's two. Cody Crone.
Yes.
Stellar performance. Oh, by the way, we're going to have him on Thursday night on Between the Slicks and talk to this young man who's got a lot of experience in drag racing, even doing dragster the way God intended it with the motor in the front.
Yeah.
And then I also think what sticks out is Tony Stewart not advancing quite like people thought he should.
It's kind of like that. It's that, that first race out, kind of not knowing what's going on, just doing your due and getting to the final round. And obviously, you come back the next time and just reality kind of hits. It's good to show that, hey, this is tough. This is hard. It's not easy to just jump in a dragster and go to final rounds. And so it's good to see the struggle from Tony Stewart. We want to see him do well, but we want to show that, hey, drag racing is a legit sport and you're gonna have to struggle to get to the top.
For sure. Darren, let's take some questions from the people watching the comment section. You all, as you're watching, please keep commenting, hit the like button, hit the share button on the Gator Nats. What do we have from the peanut gallery, if you will? Drag Racing Central said Gainesville should be the new start to the season. What say you, Darren Williams, Jr., American Hot Rod Entertainment, Competition Plus assistant editor, who lives in Southern California?
Well, it's the easy answer for me. I'm not going to go into some deep take. Obviously, I'm a traditionalist, and I feel like the season should start in Southern California, Pomona, the birthplace of drag racing. I know you kind of disagree with that, but Pomona, the birthplace of drag racing, SoCal, the In-N-Out Burger drag strip. Let's keep this thing in Pomona. That's all I got to say.
All right,
but just real quickly, as far as, Mike actually said in the comments last week, we have to evolve as a sport. We see NASCAR making changes to their schedule to evolve in this day and time. If it's best for the NHRA and helping it grow, I'm okay with it.
Only thing I want is the Winter Nationals to be in winter. That is it.
It's raining right now in LA again, right? It's like raining.
Y'all have had a while. I think, this has been like the NHRA. I don't know what crystal ball they were peering into. It worked out for them because, last year Gators was just nuts with rain. We had just one day of rain, beautiful weather the rest of the time, beautiful weather for the baby Gators. And Southern California y'all had snow in Fontana.
Yeah. And that it just goes to show that I'm from Southern California because I didn't dress the part. I went in just a regular sweatshirt and a denim jacket and I froze my butt off out there. I'm just say that.
Wow. I know. Now, Andrew Osterhaus, I think, has a great question. What is Gainesville doing that some other tracks are not doing to get that many fans? Places like Pomona and Chicago should look like that. I even want to add ZMAX should look like that. What do you think? Observing the Gator Nationals, because I don't think it is just first race of the year. The Gator Nationals is routinely a well-attended event. It was well-attended race day last year.
That's a tough question, because the first thing I want to go to is the history, but Pomona has that same type of history, so I can't go with the history part. I mean, is it all the different type of classes? You got Pro Mod, Factory Stock Showdown, all the Lucas Oil Series, Pro Stop Bike shows up there. That's really a tough question for me. I've never actually been to Gainesville to see how they run it in person, but I want to get your opinion on that.
I'm not sure I can develop an opinion on this question. I think it would have to be some intense study on the demographics of who is showing up there at the Gator Nationals, who is purchasing tickets and experiencing that race. And then you'd have to compare it with demographics to your other races to have that question answered. I do think, yes, it's longevity and it's prestige. I think maybe, very possibly, it has had a spot in the calendar for a very long time that if you wanted to see East Coast drag racing, it was isolated compared to other East Coast events. And that may have gave people from the past a connection and longevity of tradition of this is the first drag race we go to over other East Coast events. Yeah.
And just going off of Pomona, I think Pomona's biggest problem is I think that was one of the few tracks, not the few tracks, but that was a track that was really hit by COVID really hard. With all the restrictions that happened out here in California and all that time, I think it's just taken us a while to kind of get back to form. And I believe once we get to the World Finals, maybe not this one in April, that's coming up late March, early April, but once we get to the World Finals in November, I think we're going to have a pretty good crowd, and they're going to open that West Side Grandstand on the right side lane. Just my opinion.
Well, I met you on the west side
Yeah.
grandstand. There was people there. 2019. I think was it 2019 or the 2020 Winter
2019.
Nationals that it was the last time?
2019. Yeah, 2019 World Finals. That was the last
All
time.
right, and there was a good number in the stands. Yes.
Yeah,
So
it was. Yeah.
it can happen. I agree with you. I think Southern California is still slowly, very slowly, coming out of the COVID idea and the perception in the mind of the populace. You know, you live in South Carolina, it was like, was there ever COVID? You go to other parts of the country, and it was like, oh, yeah, we're definitely in the midst of this and have got to be careful. Andrew chimes in again, says, how was this burn down different than the one between Mason and Bruno at Topeka? Darren, I think you've actually already answered that, and I'll let you answer it again.
Oh, it's easy. The starter intervened. The starter. I'm not saying he was wrong, but I think at that moment it's pro stock. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Let him burn it down and see what happens. This one in pro mod. I don't know the starter's name. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I don't know because I guess they switch him all the time now. But he didn't intervene. He sat there and said, "Hey, I got all night. I'm gonna let you guys put on a show for the fans," and he did that, and it turned out to be a really iconic memory we'll always remember from the Gator Nationals.
Yes, for sure. Oh, the Mystic does chime in and say population of Florida. Florida does have a big population, and it's the one event in Florida, can pull from the Panhandle in the South. They also do love their motorsports in Florida. I mean, we're talking about, you have Daytona. You have the history of Daytona, and I don't mean just NASCAR, but go all the way back to land speed record days when they would race on the beach to set land speed records. You have Bike Week. You have a heavy dirt scene. All the pro mod racing happens in Florida now. Everybody goes to Florida to get their racing in. So maybe that does have something to do with it.
And then you got all those fans from Alabama right next door coming over because they love motorsports too. So you bring that Alabama fan base in and just
like
just
Jacob,
it all in.
Like Jacob, who still hasn't got his Nova finished. Get it done, dude. Get it done. Now, speaking of fans, Darren, I'm going to keep telling this story. I told this story on your show. By the way, let's plug that right after we make this story time element of Competition Plus Power Hour. I'm going to tell again on my show on Thursday night. I'm in the stands. I'm filming the final rounds. And next to me is this older lady and older man, a married couple. And I like to chat with people in the stands if I can kind of get the vibe someone's willing to chat. Some people, they sit in the stands, are like, I like to chat with people if they're willing to chat. And she was willing to chat. I described to her as a matter of fact, Julie Natus wanted, is like, oh, wow, she just doubled up, and she's like, what do you mean? Oh, she won the Baby Gators. And I explained the Baby Gators. And she mentioned, well, this is our first Gator Nationals. Well, I kept asking some more questions. Not only was it their first Gator Nationals, it was their first ever NHRA national event. They said they were at Bike Week, and they're like, we might as well go. We've never been. Let's get it in. And she said they loved it. They never experienced anything like it. And she said, as a matter of fact, after that first run of Top Fuel, my mind was blown. I went to go stand at the rail, and I was blown even further. She's like, I'm glad I didn't stand down there the first time. I wouldn't have been able to contain myself. That kind of story, that's good for drag racing.
Man, that's awesome right there. And I tell you, I've taken family members for the first time. I remember my cousin, I took him, the first race I ever took him to was the 2013 Winter Nationals. That was the one where Antron Brown had that bad crash in round number 2 when he had that big blow up and it went into the waters. But, I digress. But the first time, the first pair of Top Fuel drag shoes I went by, he held his chest, his jaw dropped. And he was like, the first thing he said was, it shook the whole ground. That's literally how he said it. And then I took my girlfriend for the first time to Vegas, the fall race in 2018. In that one, and I purposely, so we were sitting around 330 feet, and I purposely did not tell her to put earplugs in. Probably shouldn't have done this, but they went on down through there, and she looked at me like, why would you do this to me? You should have seen the shock on her face. But man, that just goes to show that Nitro is so amazing. And just going off of that, last year at Houston, I was recording in the stands, and there was a guy who'd been coming to Houston since it first opened in 1988, and he had this different from your story because it wasn't his first race, but he had a giant booklet. And in that booklet, he wrote down all the results for every pro class from every race at Houston up until this point, until the last one. Yes, had written down every result. Every qualifying run, every elimination run, had everything. And he showed it to me, him and his son. I was like, that's amazing. That's an NHRA fan for you right there.
It is. It is. All right. Gator Nationals. We could continue to talk and talk and talk about the Gator Nationals. So many coming out of the Gator Nationals. We're talking about it here. I'm going to talk about it on my show. We talked about it on your show on CompetitionPlus.com and American Hot Rod Entertainment inside the NHRA. Plus, CompetitionPlus.com, I think, has got the best book of information, the notebook from the Gator Nationals. If you want to know all the stories along with the peak pit notes with yours truly, you can see that on CompetitionPlus.com. Swing by there and get all your drag racing news. But there is more news out there, Darren, in the drag racing world. There's more. There's more. And it's good. Because everybody likes to talk about drag racing is dead. Look at the crowd. Everybody likes to talk about drag racing is dead. There's no more tracks being built. Where will we go race? And right now, there are solid, not rumors, but plans that the Gage Nationals very well in the future could be reborn.
Really? Tell me more, Lee.
Yes.
The old Gage Nationals. I like it.
Yes. So those that run No Problem Raceway, there very well may be a purchase of that raceway, and there is talks that everything but the racing surface bulldozed and rebuilt to make it a national event ready facility. And by the way, Mr. Glenn Cromwell has already made an appearance at No Problem Raceway, specking out the scene, if you will. And they like the talk, the hype, and the plans.
Is that breaking news here on Competition Plus Power Hour?
You can read that article on CompetitionPlus.com.
Oh. Shows that I know. Wow. That's a throwback for you right there. The Gage Nationals. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Man.
That's good news. Someone interested in building a track to hold another national event, and it would fit so well, especially with losing Houston in that market. Hour away from New Orleans. It's not that far for someone from Houston. And you have in a market that I think is untapped in a lot of ways in professional sports, period, professional motorsport.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, in that market, Atlanta's gone, Houston's gone. Like you said, that really feels it, right there. Whatever happened to that track that was, talked about in Mississippi? How's that going?
I don't know any further information on that one, except that, yes, there were plans. There has been work. I have not seen any updates. It was to be around Hattiesburg, Mississippi, but I have not seen any further updates. But I say more the merrier. Bring it on. Okay,
so Lee, you're talking about the Gage Nationals possibly returning, right? So, we've seen, like I said, we've lost Houston. We've lost Atlanta. Houston, the old Super Nationals back in the day. It was the Spring Nationals for a little bit. Atlanta's the Summer Nationals. We've lost Englishtown.
Southern.
What?
Southern Nationals.
Yeah, the Southern Nationals. What did I say?
Summer.
No, Englishtown was the old Summer Nationals.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Atlanta, the old Summer Nationals. Englishtown, the old Summer Nationals. We gotta bring back some of these names, like the Super Nationals, the Summer Nationals, the Southern Nationals. You gotta bring back some of these. These iconic names for national events.
I know this. ZMAX Dragway should never have the moniker of Southern Nationals. No, should never. It can have Carolina Nationals. It can have 4-wide whatever Nationals, but it can never have Southern Nationals. You're going to have Southern Nationals, it's got to be Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. It's got to be in the heart, down deep down in there, okay? Like where people talk funny deep down in there. That's where it's got to be to have
like
actual Southern Nationals.
Like Greenville, not Greenville. Greenville.
It's not Greenville. It's Greenville.
Oh, I'm from California, so I say Greenville, okay? That's how you pronounce it. It's Greenville.
You'd be known real quick, buddy bro. You'd be known real quick. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking about the Gator Nationals here. There is a lot of good news for drag racing from there. Even the future prospect of a NHRA major event to be there in Southern Louisiana. Little ways off, but there are plans. There are solid rumors, if you will. Yes, Darren.
Can I say one more thing? Because I know we're going to bring our guest on in just a little bit. Yep. So just speaking on Competition Plus, right? So Tuesday nights, we have the Competition Plus Power Hour. We do interviews with great guests around the world of drag racing. Wednesday nights, we have the Nostalgia Scene, the Heritage Series. Wednesday nights, we talk to, different frontage and top field dragster drivers, Nostalgia Funny Car, Fuel Alter guys. And then Thursday on Facebook, we got Between the Slicks, the world-renowned Between the Slicks, Academy Award-winning Between the Slicks from my man, the Monday Morning Racer. And then Sunday now, after each national event, we have Inside the NHRA where we recap the national event and bring out the highlights and go in depth. I'm thinking Competition Plus is starting to turn into like, the sports center of the NHRA or drag racing world. I mean, we have live programming pretty much almost every day of the week. Competition Plus, man, we're doing it big over here.
Hey, live programming with the young bucks out there in the drag racing world. And don't let another buck know about that. He definitely wants to be the sports center of the drag racing world. Hey, speaking of someone that's definitely a young buck out there that's changing the drag racing world, that would be Chris Graves, promoter, owner of Funny Car Chaos. He is going to be our first and next guest here on the Competition Plus Power Hour right after this break. This word from Weldon High Performance. They literally pump up the show, the Competition Plus Power Hour. Chris Graves, welcome once again to the Competition Plus Power Hour.
Thank you. How are y'all?
Doing good.
Very good.
Darren, you go ahead. I talked to this man enough. Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna start off a little light before I get into actual, this upcoming season, all the great stuff you're doing for Funny Car Chaos. What's it like having this slacker right here on my left working for you right here? Does he ever do any work when he's at the racetrack? Does he ever do any work?
Well, he stays plenty busy, but yeah, man, it's been great having Lee in the pits, man. It was a delight last year to add him to the staff. He's added a lot of excitement and hype to the pits and the top end interviews and winner circle interviews and things for the live stream he does. So we needed it badly, and he fit the role, and we're glad to have him for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely just joking. Lee is one of the most hardest working dudes in drag racing that I know. He does great work, and somebody I really try to, go off of and try to learn from and how he does his interviews and stuff like that. So you have a great guy working for you for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Chris, man, let's begin with the biggest news, obviously, so that everybody knows. I know you've had to answer phone calls, you've had to answer emails, you've had to answer text. I'm sure you've had to send out smoke signals, if that is readable for anyone out there in Texas and beyond. Postponement. Why?
Yeah, the track came to me actually, and we talked Sunday, and they had to have discussions Saturday night about it. You can't race in the rain, obviously, and the big day Thursday in testing. But, the bottom line is that, for 3 or 4 hours on Friday and Saturday of decent weather is not enough to complete a race that's got 50 funny cars, 20 fuel altereds, and 150 other race cars that we're supposed to run. So, track temps were going to be an issue, and we want to prioritize safety, obviously. And the track and I both agreed quickly and certainly that the easier and most safe thing to do is to push her a week back and we'll be okay. So we'll hope that that's the case next weekend.
I certainly know it's definitely tough. You're all hyped up and ready to go for the first race of the year on a certain type of weekend. You have to push it a week back. But for all in all, with it being delayed, can we expect the event to go off as planned and have, the same participation we would have had, for the regular prior, scheduled event?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Actually, only 2 people I know that can't come that were already coming was Alex Laughlin and Terry Haddock because they got to go to Phoenix. But yeah, we've still got 50 cars pre-entered in Funny Car. We've still got over 16 fuel altereds pre-entered. There's going to be probably 75 racers in the Texas Drag Racing Association. We got jets. We got turbo diesel dragsters. We never know who's going to show up. I like doing weird off-the-wall exhibition things. And so if you got a cool car, you can probably text me and say, hey, can I come? And I'm probably going to say yes. But there's all kinds of fun stuff. Fireworks. We got, it's going to be a good show. It's always a good show at the Plex, and it's going to be another one.
Awesome.
He didn't name it Chaos to not live up to it, and it has certainly lived up to it. And look, the brand is expanding. There's more races this year for Funny Car Chaos geographically beyond where it has ever gone before. Why, 5-6 years into this Chaos experiment, is it the right time to go to a Maryland International Raceway and to, I believe, Albuquerque Dragway is what they say. So New Mexico and Maryland, farthest west and farthest east of the Chaos has ever gone. Why 2023?
Well, the East Coast has been hungry for a while, and there's a lot of funny cars out there. And I've talked to several tracks, and it's just never really happened. But man, the folks at MIR are unbelievable, and I'm really excited about getting out there. I've been there before, working on Dale Creasy Jr.'s car back in like 07, I believe. I think we actually won that race. But anyway, really cool track, really cool, great staff, everything. I'm already got things planned at that track that I don't have planned for Motorplex next weekend. So very impressive so far dealing with them business-wise. Albuquerque, looking forward to that too. That's definitely our most west option. We're excited about both of those dates. We like going to new tracks. I love going to new tracks. Getting out and hitting the highway and bringing the circus to town is what we like to do. And so Albuquerque, why not? Maryland, why not? What's next? I don't know, but call me.
Well, DRC wants Pro Stock Chaos, so maybe that's next, man.
That could happen.
Well, you mentioned the East Coast is hungry, but I know who's also hungry. Us out here on the West Coast. I'll tell you what, and we have a lot of funny cars out here too. I do a lot of work with the NHRA Heritage Series. We got Bobby Cottrell, Bucky Austin, we got Billy Morris, and the Problem Child. Any plans to come, further west sometime in the future, maybe?
Well, it's funny, and I guess I could probably talk about it. I haven't really told a lot of people this, but me and Blake Bowser had a long conversation probably 2 months before COVID hit. And we had something cooking to do something at Bakersfield, and COVID killed that deal, and it just never got revved back up yet. But so there was something going to happen there. I've talked to Tucson recently, and that's pretty much a green light. I think we're going to do something there with Jim Hughes and the people at Tucson maybe next year. So we can maybe look forward to that. I'm probably saying stuff I shouldn't, but hey, that's what live internet stuff's all about, right? So yeah, Tucson, thumbs up. No secret. And I've been to the March meet several times, Bakersfield several times, ran my dragster at the reunion, and wow, it'd be so cool to do a chaos race at Bakersfield. And I wish that would have happened, but COVID just knocked us down big time. We were literally about to sign a contract, and so maybe that'll come back. I haven't talked to Blake. Awesome to see a successful March meet for them a couple weeks ago. So it's all good. There's plenty of time and plenty of chaos to go around. So it's all good.
Wow, Lee, imagine Funny Car Chaos at Bakersfield. That would be badass, yo.
It would be. Look, especially if it would be almost a match made in drag racing heaven. Like after being there, like that fan base loves funny cars. Like funny car is the top of the card. You could clearly tell that at the March meet. Mm-hmm. And then Top Fuel didn't run, so it's clearly in Nitro funny car.
Don't go there, Lee. Don't move on.
He had to throw that in. You knew he was.
I'm just saying. Just say it. Okay.
Yeah. Let's move on.
No talking about dragster drama.
Now, you've got Expansion West, Expansion East. There's more races, period, on the calendar with even Nitro Chaos that we haven't even talked about yet. What does the series need at this point, Chris? Because I'm sure you've hit a critical point where we're not grassroots no more, but we're not NHRA Camping World. We're in this weird place in between. How do we grow? How do we not limit ourselves? What does the series need?
That's an interesting question because I don't know that we need to grow a whole lot more. I kind of like where we're at. Not being the Camping World vibe is cool. Having grown as much as we have in the past 7 years is unbelievable. We had 93 funny cars race chaos last year. We're going to have over 100 this year and expanding. Yeah. Am I back? Okay.
Oh,
somebody
back.
Tried to call me. Somebody called me and my phone went blank. But anyway, I'm kind of okay with where we're at, and I kind of like letting things happen as they happen. What we need is the continued support from the people who have made this happen. That's what we need. And we're going to get it because they're unbelievable people. Our marketing partners are fantastic. Our racers are just awesome. And you know that, Lee. These people are just so cool to hang out with. It's like a frat that we travel with, and we get to party all the time and hang out all the time, and everybody's buddies, and we do extracurricular things. When we're not on the weekends, we still hang out outside the track. I mean, there's so much friendship and camaraderie and family vibe going on at the Chaos races that's what we need. That's all we need to keep going is that, and prioritizing the entertainment value of what Chaos brings to these tracks and having fun. That's what we need. More fun, more family vibe, more keeping what we got going is what we need.
And just to add to that, I believe Lee, it was on your show Between the Slicks with Quayne Stott was Sega. You know, he was saying like, you know, we're growing really fast. You know, we race at these small racetracks, and you know, we have to, you know, deny people the gate because we just can't, you know, pack these places. But you know, with a series like Funny Car Chaos, it's like, man, we're growing so fast. But it's like, you know, yes, we have a race at Dallas, but we don't want to kind of lose that essence, that vibe, the atmosphere of what we give when we go to like a Mocan, a Carney, or a, you know, something like that. Do you kind of agree with that? It's like keeping to the roots of Funny Car Chaos.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've said that since day one. Grassroots tracks are where we're going to race. I'm delighted and blessed to be able to race at the Texas Motorplex. I'm a Motorplex kid. That's where I grew up. That's where this drag racing needle got put in my arm by my dad and everybody back in the early 90s, you know. So it's all good. But yeah, you know, there ain't no drag strip on the country better than old Smoking Mocan. I promise you that. That's my favorite track. I've been to 70 drag strips, and that's number one.
Look, Chris isn't lying. There's something special about Mocan. It might not be the nicest facility in the world, but it just has this aura around it, and it is real. And it's the fan base. I mean, they love their drag racing. When people will sit in the stands and watch junior dragsters, they love drag racing, okay? Yeah. And they do that at Mocan. It's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the track with the cornfield then? Is it Eddyville, Kearney? Which one is the one I got to get to with the cornfield at the end of the
Eddyville.
Eddyville, okay. Eddyville. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Lee's trying to get me out to a Funny Car Chaos race. I got to get to one.
Well, sure. Chaos in the cornfield's going to be a good one because that's the first time we're going to double down and run Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos on the same weekend. And I'm insane, but that's what we're going to do. And yeah, there'll be over 40 or no, there'll be over probably 70 feature cars on the property that weekend.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I imagine Scott Gardner is going to be a part of that, and other people. Like, what are y'all going to do? Like the show might not even be on the track. It might be filming y'all that weekend and running the dang thing.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna rob a bank on the way there, and then we're gonna get there, and we're dishing out over $60,000 that weekend, and we're probably gonna regret that, but it's all good. No, I'm kidding, man. Yes, Scott's involved, Gerald's involved. This is all one of our, Gerald and I kind of brainstormed the whole Nitro Chaos thing, and yeah, I don't know, man. We're gonna see how it goes. It should be pretty good. It's gonna be exciting for sure. It's a 3-day Chaos race too, so that's exciting as well. But we're gonna start rolling promotions on that pretty fast. And we had almost 40 20 cars there last summer. Fully expect over 16, probably 20 Nitro Chaos cars. There's going to be a whole bunch of horsepower in that cornfield in May 26th through 28th there. Memorial weekend at Eddyville is going to be out.
And so you mentioned the double down with Nitro Chaos and Funny Car Chaos. And so I got to ask you, well, first off, before I do that, with Nitro Chaos, we could see like Tyler Hilton, Great Expectations. Obviously, I know he's only going to Edgewater in Ohio, but you can see like Tyler Hilton, Great Expectations, taking on like Julie Natus, a side-by-side race. I'm looking for, different matchups like that you can see. But, Nitro Chaos this year, 4 races, but not just money this year. They're actually racing for points and there'll be a champion. What kind of led into your decision, putting that dynamic in of saying like, hey, we're not just racing for money now, no more, we're racing for points?
Well, the success from last year, this is very similar to the Funny Car Chaos evolution. Funny Car Chaos started with 1 race. I had no intentions of having 8. The next year, everybody had so much fun at Chaos 1 that we did 4 the next year. And then with help from John Hale and Best of Texas Barbecue Sauce at the time, we expanded to 8 the 3rd year. So Nitro Chaos started in 2021 with 1 race. Scott Palmer ran. Oh my gosh, it was so awesome. He was there. Look it up on YouTube. Anyway, One race in 2021. Scott Palmer won that at Eddyville where we debuted. And then last year we did 2. And we added one at Mocan to celebrate 60-year anniversary of Mocan. We had Big Daddy Don Garlitz there. It was unbelievable. Both those races were awesome. So when things are working, why not, right? So several tracks came. They said, hey, we want to do some chaos. I said, well, my funny car chaos plate is full here, but I got this other deal and it looks pretty promising and maybe we should consider doing that. So that's how we got Edgewater. And so then we had one more race to go and ownership changed at Thunder Valley Raceway in Noble, Oklahoma. And so I called those new owners, talked to them, and that's kind of a very good hub. A lot of my Nitro racers are from this general area, can get to Thunder Valley and Oklahoma City pretty easy. Figured the car kind of be good based on travel. So let's do a race there. That makes 4. So if you're going to do 4, you might as well count points. So then you got to hunt sponsorships and through connections and help from Chase Copeland and a few racers and things like that. And Dean Dubbin at DMP Awnings and Murph McKinney Race Cars and CP Carrillo. We've got these 3 marketing partners that have thrown some money in the pot here to have over $10,000 championship payout for Nitro Chaos this year. So it goes back to the question earlier is what do we need? We just need more continued support from the fantastic people that are helping make this go. I'm one guy, but there's an army behind me and my wife and my family and everything. We're all just digging and we're going to keep digging and doing our thing and keeping our head down and having fun and going to drag races and putting on shows for people that like nitro cars and funny cars.
Yeah.
Darren, Nitro Chaos is the stuff.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
I saw the Scott Palmer thing from your from Lee's footage back in the day.
I've never been to Iowa in my life, and I flew out there like after COVID. I didn't even rent a car. I took an hour and a half Uber. Didn't even know how I was going to get back. I'm like, I'm going to this drag race, and it was on my birthday.
Were you on you did stay for Winter Circle, right? When Palmer fired the car up in front of the tower and whacked the throttle like 19 times?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank God for Scott Palmer.
I know it. I know it.
So, speaking of big names in drag racing associated with the Chaos brand, with Nitro Chaos this year, you have Megan Meyer, 2-time NHRA champion and also winner of Nitro Chaos there at Mocan, saying, hey, I'm going to run a full championship run. And that means Randy Meyer Racing is involved. You've got the stamp of approval from one of the most respected names in drag racing on your brand. That's got to make you feel good, man. Yeah,
it does. It does. The answer is yes, it does. And to watch, your interviews of Megan at Mocan last summer, and she said that's the most fun she's had possibly ever had drag racing her entire career was at that race. And it's like, wow, this 2-time champion done everything they can in that class, won everything all over the world, and she's talking about how much fun she's having at Nitro Chaos and Mocan Dragway, running 8th mile with, in a field out there. So, hey, that's what we're doing. So, it's cool to have people that do this for a living and all that come over and join us and experience the other side a little bit and kind of kick back and lay back and get the laid back vibe and get that grassroots vibe again. That's what it is. I mean, I grew up, a 90s kid and I missed all the 70s, man. Like, wow, I wish I could have lived that era, but I didn't. So all I know is YouTube and stories from my friends, so trying to keep that vibe alive, and just kick back and have some drag racing fun. That's what we're trying to do, man. So I'm glad Randy Meyer enjoys it, and I'm looking forward to a whole bunch of other people enjoying it this year too. We're glad to have him for sure. It's going to be very exciting. I mean, the Nitro Chaos deal, we got like 12 or 13 cars that have committed to the season. So I don't know who's going to win any of it, but it's going to be good. And it's all going to be on flowracing.com if you'd like to watch.
You talk about the throwback atmosphere and the vibe and everything like that. I've never been to a funny car chaos race. Like I said, I have to get out to one this year, but it kind of reminds me of, like I said, it kind of reminds me of the Heritage Series, kind of same throwback vibe. You got nostalgic bodies, the backup girls and all this stuff.
Except we run.
Oh my goodness. You see what he's doing? Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna ignore that. That was a good one, Lee. But just for the average drag racing fan who probably hasn't been to a funny car chaos race, you've already talked about the vibe, but let's go even more deeper as far as like, we talk about running for championships and stuff like that. Talk about the dynamic and the A field, the B field, how you kind of came up with that idea, and also how does points work as far as funny car chaos, nitro chaos? How do you earn points? How many points per round, everything like that. Just kind of break it down for us.
Sure, yeah. So the first thing is obviously there's no rules. There's no rules on what's between the frame rail. So you can have a funny car with a Pro Charger. You can have a funny car with a Nitro car. You can have a funny car with a screw blower. You can have a funny car with a diesel motor. I don't care what is powered by and how you power it. I don't care what kind of body's on it. So Nitro Chaos, same thing. No rules at all. Got to have safety, obviously. Got to have licenses and all of that, obviously. But so when you have no rules, you get a wide variety of performing vehicles showing up. So you got to sort them out somehow, so that the racing's entertaining and competitive. So that's how you come up with the A and B and C fields of 8 cars. So every funny car chaos race, you're going to see 24 cars in the first round. That's 8 car field after 3 rounds of qualifying. So those 8 cars in the A field are the quickest 8 on the property. Then you got 9 through 16 and 17 through 24. So they're all like performing vehicles. So when you come and pair them up, they're all going to run relatively close within 2/10 of each other pretty much all day long, all first round. So that's what makes it so competitive. That's why anybody in Funny Car Chaos shows up in the pits can win. Trust me, it happens all the time. Lee can vouch for it all day long. The lowest buck guy wins at Funny Car Chaos. It doesn't matter how much money you got or how fast your car is. You can take home the trophy every time. And so equal to that is the way the points are earned. The points earning ability is the same in the A field, B field, and C field. So if a guy goes out and wins the C field every race all year long, he's going to get as many or more points than the guy who won 5 A fields but lost 3 final rounds or whatever. So yes, our Kirk Williams is our defending champion, A field car, but there were B field and C field guys nipping at his heels all day long. So it's an interesting way to have a no rules approach, which is the biggest key. Let the racers build their cars how they want. Don't tell them how to do it with a rule book and make them spend a bunch of money they don't have to spend. Let them do it in their garage, like Daniel Batharis and Jade Cook and all these people that are doing these awesome things with their funny cars that have never been done before, the way they want to do it on the budget that they have. Let them come to the track, run and win, earn points, have fun, get paid, and put on a show for these fans and sign autographs and give out brownies. We got stuff going on in the pits. It's awesome. And you just walk around and people want to feed you. And here's hero cards and come sit in my car. And here you need the Dr. Pepper or whatever. And you want to go on the start line with us? Here's a shirt. Get in the truck. It's a cool deal. So if you haven't been to one, we'd love to have you.
And you can buy T-shirts at the trailer, actually, as God intended it.
You can. All of our racers pay for their diesel by selling shirts at their trailer. It's a big part of how to get you up and down the road. Sorry, but I encourage merchandise sales to no end because that gets them down the road, man. That's hotel money. I don't take a cut either.
Imagine that.
I know, right? But that's okay. We're not going to go there. So, yeah. Please throw a darts at his dartboard behind the screen, like.
Yes, it's dark. I just feel it tonight. It's dart throwing night for sure. Chris, you got a great thing going on. You mentioned a part of the great thing is all these different combinations. What are you most excited to see when we do get to the Motorplex for the first time? There are new cars or old cars revamped coming out. So what are you most excited to see?
I'm excited for I'm a Nitro dude at the end of the day. I love Nitro cars. I'm excited to see the A field at NS next weekend is going to be retarded. There's 360 cars for days. We always try to figure out what the bump is going to be for the 32 car deal. And it's usually pretty fast. It sometimes takes a 3.40 for sure, so it's going to be tight, but that's what's so exciting about Funny Car Chaos. And I know what everybody's going to run. And I know most of the time who's going to win most pairings if they run what they're supposed to run. But when you get to the starting line at a Funny Car Chaos race, you don't know what's going to happen and you don't know who's going to win. And when you get, a bunch of people that come to a few races a year combined with our traveling regulars, and they get mixed all in there, it's exciting. And so, the C field is going to be the normal A field, and the B field is going to be super awesome, and the A field is just going to be crazy. There's just a whole lot of big power, 3-second, 230-mile-an-hour race cars coming. So I'm looking forward to watching the big guns start slinging. It's going to be exciting. Not that they're all exciting, but I don't know, man. I can't wait for first round of A field. It just gives me goosebumps. It's always an awesome deal. And you can ask Lyle Greenberg and Kyle Smith how awesome it is. But
yeah, who you expect to win does not win. I mean,
that's right.
I mean, I think the trophy could have been rolled over to Dale Worsham's pit the day of, but no, he doesn't win it. An alcohol card beats him, and then Brad Tuttle, they couldn't make the answer. They couldn't make the call, and Lyle Greenberg wins it in which Lyle is what at Bakersfield, Darren? That's junior fuel?
Nitro Pro Comp.
He's a Nitro Pro Comp. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So not even like, Big Show Heritage, Nitro funny car. So you don't know. You just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting. It's what it's supposed to be. Fun and exciting.
And, like you said, kicking off your season out at the Texas Motorplex, the iconic Texas Motorplex. I've only been once, and it's a freaking great facility. You talk about, the inaugural NHRA race there in 1986 where Steve Evans, he opens the show in front of the scoreboard talking about Darrell Gwynn, 526, 278. You talk about Eddie Hill, 499, 8 and stuff like that. But Chris, we'll put you on the spot here because we're talking funny cars. Funny cars, plastic fantastics, floppers. Give me your top 5, not favorite funny car drivers, but your top 5 favorite funny cars of all time. Or no, 3, because I know 5 is kind of a lot. So top 3 favorite funny cars of all time.
Well, Ed McCullough's late 80s, I think it was 89 Miller High Life car for sure is number 1.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but I love that car. When I was a little kid, I was all about Mike Dunn Snickers car. And I've still got that t-shirt. And I don't know, man. Like I say, I was a 90s kid, John Force, anything John Force. Maybe that was like a 93 car with the flames on the hood. I'm just going back to when I was a kid and I was totally obsessed with all this stuff. And I got hero cards for days and then crawling under people's legs and crap to get autographs at the Motorplex and stuff. There'd be a line 10 people deep at Eddie Hill's pit, and I'd have a pile of hero cards, and I'd just go under people's legs all the way to the front under the rope, stick up there and get them signed and come back out. My dad would be like, "How'd you do that?" And I was like, "Man, you just got to go get it." But those are some of my favorite funny cars, I guess. Being born in the mid '80s and watching drag racing in the '90s, that's what you're going to get an answer. But I didn't get to see Jungle Jim run or all these people. But so those are the ones that stick out to me. For cars, my favorite funny car driver of all time is Dale Creasy Jr. He's my boy.
Peanut.
I love it.
Well, Chris, look, man, thank you for coming on the Competition Plus Power Hour. We originally had you slated for this time because it was originally supposed to be right before the race at the Motorplex. We've got just one more weekend to wait. I'll be in Texas. You're obviously already there, but you'll be at the track. David Ratton, whole gang together. And we're about to enjoy some chaos. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, can't wait, man. It's going to be a long week, but it's all good. I'd rather have safe conditions for these cars to perform at their best and provide entertaining drag racing for the fans, and we're looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Chris.
Nice to meet you, Darren. I expect to see you a few times this season, man. Not just once.
I got Eddyville, Kearney, Mocan. Leah's told me about it. I got to get to these racetracks. I do. I got to get there.
When you talk to Bobby about getting a flight, is a little tight on the back wallet here or what?
Hey, you know Bobby. You know Bobby.
I'm going to send him an email tonight.
Send him an email. You do that. You send him an email.
Right.
Chris, thank you, sir.
Yeah, y'all have a good one. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Adios. Chris Graves, owner, promoter, Funny Car Chaos. Darren, I want to propose to you your own question. Your top 3 funny cars. I like that.
Top 3 funny cars of all time. So first off, we all know my favorite funny car driver of all time. That's easy. You just look in the back, right? Well, if we're going to go number 1, I'm going to just pull it from the, give me a second. Hold on. If we want to go number 1 funny car of all time, I actually seen this car run in person, 98 World Finals. I was very young though, but I do remember it. The 7-time champ gold car. I'll go with that one. If I go number 2, let's go Bernstein's Batmobile. I'm gonna go Bernstein's Batmobile. I love that funny car. It kind of grew on me though. At first, I didn't like it. I was like, man, that's an ugly car. But over the years, as I've gotten older, that Bernstein Batmobile from 1987 has certainly grown on me a lot. And if I want to go number 3, number three, who am I gonna go with? There's so many options. Can I go John Force again or no?
If you want to, go ahead. We're talking about the car, the body, the look. Go ahead.
John Force, Superman. he made me Superman, but he has Austin Power. Remember that line from Noble Showdown?
Yes.
Superman. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I like that. It's a good list.
Yeah. I have more, but you said 3, so I'm gonna just,
Well, you said 3 too, so we got to go with
I did.
it.
Yeah. I didn't want to be full John Force centric because it's obvious, but hey. But Dujanay Bland in the comments, though, he talking about Tom McEwen's Corvette from back in the day. He's talking about Jim White's Hawaiian Punch. He got some good ones in there.
Yeah, there's some good ones. And, if you go way back, there's so many great bodies from way back. For me, my top 3, I'm going to start off with way back, and it's the car that my dad worked on with Gene Cromer, the Moonlighter Mustang funny car.
Okay.
Back in the time when funny car was really funny, because there was a lot of things going on in combinations and rules and what they were supposed to look like and things of that nature. Then it would have to be Bernstein's Tempo. I love the Tempo body for some reason. I don't know why. When I think of 80s funny car drag racing, I think of Kenny Bernstein in that Tempo and that little kangaroo on the side up front. I love that car. And then I'm gonna go Dean Scusa and his Mopar machine.
Okay. So you like the Mopar better than the Mac O'Toole's scheme? Because I like the Mac O'Toole scheme from Dean Scusa.
I'm the Mopar scheme guy.
Mopar, okay. Yeah. Another one that comes to mind right now, Gordy Bonin, the bubble up car from back in the day. I used to love that. Love that.
Yes,
those
that's
are great
another
paint
good one.
Gordy
That's
Bonin.
another good one. Yeah,
that was a good one.
Another good one.
There's
so
many out
many.
there, man.
So many out there. So many. I liked Chris's pick of the Snickers car. That was interesting.
Yeah. That was
interesting.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
And so, if you didn't know, Rodney Flournoy actually bought that car after Mike drove it. Who drives the Godzilla Fuel Altered? They bought that car. Yeah.
Fascinating. By the way, that is a pit note that we need to get out there. We need to get on that with Bobby, talking with Mr. Godzilla from the March meet.
Before you bring on Gage Herrera, though, the dude who dominated Pro Style Motorcycle at the Gator Nationals, I got a bone to pick with you, Lee. Dominated. Number 1 qualifier, low ET, top speed. Just wax the field. But before you bring him on, I got a bone to pick with you, Lee. So you want to talk about how I've never been to a Nitro Chaos race, right? You want to put me out there. I've never been there, right? You go to one Heritage Series race, and all of a sudden, you're just like, oh, you want to just throw me out there? Come on now. You go to your first March meet, and all of a sudden, I could have said that. Oh, you never been to a March meet before?
I got it in, didn't I?
You did.
I got it in. You still got to get yours in. Come on, man.
Give me a chance to get to a funny car chaos race. Give me a chance. The season just started.
All last year, your bro pit reporting funny car chaos. Okay. I have digressed enough. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break here on the Competition Plus Power Hour, and we're going to get the winner of Pro Stock Motorcycle on at the Gator Nationals right after this word from Competition Plus Products.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
Classic car owners, make your headlights over twice as bright with Holley Retro Bright LED headlights. A plug-in replacement for those dim halogen seal beams, Retro Bright maintains that classic look and lasts 6 times longer. Stay safe and click the link below to learn more.
Winner, chicken dinner, Gage Herrera. Did you actually eat a chicken dinner, though? We always say that. No, I don't ever see anyone eat a chicken dinner. Have you got it in yet?
Nope, I haven't yet.
Dang. I'm telling you. What's up? No, man. Hey, look, congratulations. A crown jewel of the sport. you have won it in Pro Stock Motorcycle. Your just in general thoughts. I know that's a big conceptual question, but what's your thoughts just a few days removed?
I mean, honestly, it really hasn't set in until today. Looking at all the social media and how big of a deal it was. I mean, it really set in today as far as what I was been able to accomplish in such a short time. But I mean, I got to give it up to my whole team. I couldn't do it without them, and it's amazing. I can't believe how the whole weekend went down. It was definitely one I'll never forget.
With any competitor, they're always confident and always set high expectations for themselves, but for you, first time on a Vance & Hines bike, like I just said a minute ago, #1 qualifier, low ET, top speed, back-to-back runs in the 660, back-to-back 668s, slowest run in eliminations was a 674. You laid out 3 6.70 second passes. I know you, like I said, you set high expectations for yourself, but did you expect it to start off so good the way it did?
I mean, I had all the confidence in the world in my team, and Andrew Hines tuning it, and I got a bunch of good guys behind me, and testing went very well. We made a few changes to the bike to make me more comfortable on it, and testing, like I said, went very well. And basically, we just duplicated testing at the track and at the Gator Nationals, and it really worked out in our favor. I mean, honestly, I was there kind of as acting like. To me, I put it to myself as a test session. It wasn't really a race at first until Sunday. So basically, to me, it was just we're out just riding the bike and trying to get the cleanest passes we could, A to B, and go to the top, and we were able to do that.
All right, so be honest with me real quick. When you went into the 660 zone, what that ride felt like? I know that had to be a ride right there.
Oh, it was a good ride. I clicked when I put it in fourth gear, and then in the fifth, you definitely could tell it was on a good pass. I mean, when it went 203, I was shocked for sure. But you could tell the difference. Even though it's only a couple mile an hour, you could tell the difference when you're trying to slow down. And I knew it was an awesome run because it was a little windy Saturday, and I had to make a very little correction, and so I knew it was on a good pass.
The worst light of the day for you was an 045 light that I'm seeing from NHRA.com, and the rest of the day, it was far better than 045, and you left on everyone that you were competing against. That's some darn good riding from the starting line. What do you do as a rider to get yourself prepared to go out and do what you did?
Honestly, I go out. Maybe I don't take it. I do. I mean, I take it serious, but I don't really. I get in the zone, but I don't. I'm all about having fun. So my crew guy Jay that starts me and works on my bike. He did an awesome job all weekend, and we were going back and forth. Had some jokes back and forth. And that to me gets me in the zone more than being serious. Trying to block everyone out and all that. So that really got me in my comfort zone, to where I could repeat what I had to do. And even with all the fans, I mean, that was a big adjustment to me. Obviously I've come from pro street and grudge racing, but so normally there's a lot of people on the starting line instead of in the bleachers. So, I mean, that was an adjustment for me, was seeing all the people in the bleachers for sure. So I think just out there having fun, like I said, joking around a little bit, definitely made it to where the pressure wasn't so intense, I should say.
Yeah, with the crowd on Saturday especially, did you all get the sense of a huge crowd even down to the Pro Stock motorcycle pits? You're not as far as the Sportsman guys, but you are a little bit beyond Nitro there at the Gator Nationals. Could all the teams get the sense, wow, there is certainly a big crowd. We're having to deal and interact with more fans than what we might usually?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the pits were basically packed the whole time. Even when Nitro was running, there were people everywhere. I mean, we our pit was right there by Suzuki, so we got to kind of be in the middle. And I mean, there was a constant line of people, traffic going back and forth. And, you could tell it was sold out. I mean, it was awesome to see. I haven't seen an NHRA national event sold out like that in a long time. So I mean, I'm from Southern California, and I used to go to Pomona when I was a kid, and I don't think I've ever seen the stands that packed the whole time I've ever gone. It was awesome.
Hear that,
See what
Lee?
he said there,
SoCal.
Darren? See what he said
SoCal.
there, Darren?
I don't Pomona, California, SoCal dude. Like him already. But he mentioned so I kept saying 668s, but he did go 203.49 miles per hour, the sixth fastest speed in pro stock motorcycle history. I forgot to say that. But young kid like Gage is, I feel like there's also like a youth movement in pro stock motorcycle this season. You know, you got Chase Van Zandt now, is coming up through the ranks on that white alligator racing bike. Got Gianna Evaristo making it to the semifinals. You guys are, Gage, you guys are kind of saying like, hey, us young bucks, we're coming. Matt Smith, Angie, Eddie, gotta watch out for us.
Yeah, it's awesome, having me out there, Chase, Gianna. I mean, there's a few other new people that are getting their feet wet, and I think it's what the sport needs. It needs new faces. It needs new people to draw more attention to, NHRA, the Nationals, and to watch it on TV. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me and told me that they're gonna start watching NHRA again because it's something new. After the whole announcement about me riding for Vance and Hines Mission Suzuki, there was a lot of people that reached out to me, and they had a reason to watch again because of new faces, people that see, and to shake it up a little bit. So it's awesome to see the new people out there.
And you mentioned, I'm sorry, you got it.
Go Darren. Go.
Oh no, I was just saying. You mentioned, people saying they were going to tune in once you got the ride with Vance and Hines. So just take us back to that time this past fall, I guess you could say, when you got that call from Andrew Hines to say, "Hey, I want you to ride my Vance and Hines Suzuki."
I mean, so basically, I did every national event from the U.S. Nationals. I only qualified for 4 out of the 6, and when we were in Vegas, I actually wasn't even planning to go to Vegas, and it just worked out. I had a bunch of friends and good people that with businesses that helped me out to get back to the West Coast now that I'm in Indiana. And I think it was Friday night. Andrew got my dad in the pits and wanted to know when I was flying out or if I was going to be around Monday. And at the time, I just took it as he wanted someone lighter to ride Eddie's bike because they wanted to try some new things and test some new things. So I just took it as an opportunity to ride, the top tier bike in the class. And then so testing there went very good. And then after Pomona, I was driving to work and I got a text message from Andrew say, "Hey, give me a call when you get a chance." And I called him and I talked to him for about 10 minutes, and then he goes, "So what's your plan for next year?" And I said, "Well, I'm working on a few things right now, trying to get a better program together to do more races, and because at the time I was doing with Gary Stouffer, so I was trying to get a better program going." And he'd say, "Well, would you like to ride for us?" And that was something I could never turn down. That's an opportunity of a lifetime, and here I am today. It's awesome. I was at a loss for words at the moment. I couldn't. I basically took my phone from my ear, looked at it, and couldn't believe who I was talking to, and asked me that question. It was definitely a big dream come true. And I grew up watching Andrew, Eddie, on TV, even at Pomona. So to have Andrew call me and ask that question, that's the top of my list for sure.
Awesome.
Well, again, congratulations, man, on the ride, the Gator Nationals win. Drag Racing Central wants us to ask you about your grudge racing experience and how that has helped prepare you for this very opportunity. I almost feel like with yourself, Joey Gladstone, a few others coming from that world, that scene into NHRA Pro Stock motorcycle racing, that it's like the dirt track boys going in the NASCAR and doing exceptionally well also. And it looks like that's what's happening with you all from the outlaw scene. How has it helped? And do you feel like you outlaw riders are the ones that can do the outrighting of everyone else in the pro stock motorcycle world?
I wouldn't really say it's the outrighting. I think it goes back to the whole thing about pressure. Coming from the grudge scene, sometimes you're racing for $1,000, sometimes you're racing for 20 bands and one pass. So I think the pressure there is definitely a lot higher because there's more risk, more to lose. So I think coming from that world, as far as the pressure wise, is what helps big time at the national event with all the fans, all the people in the stands, being on TV. I think so. I think it's the same amount of pressure in a different way, and I think that's what helps a lot. And then a lot of the grudge bikes are no bar bikes, so I think coming from that world, the no bar bike world, to the bar bike world, I think it gives you a better perspective or being ready for the unexpected. Those no bar bikes, sometimes they get out of hand. I mean, I flipped over a bike before. I've bounced off the wall. So I think coming from that world and then going to a bar bike and, like I said, in front of the fans is what helps out.
And Darren, when he says bar bike, he doesn't mean the bike's out in front of the motorcycle bar either. He's talking about wheelie bars. Okay.
Yeah, I know that, Lee. I know that.
Okay, Darren.
Yeah.
Just make sure.
So Gage, you mentioned pressure, right? And like I said, coming off, your debut of Vance and Hines, first race, like I said, dominate the field. We can go over the numbers all the time, but for you, do you put any extra added pressure on yourself now moving on to the next race to say, hey, I want to back up that performance and do just as good as I did the first race?
Oh, absolutely. Coming home from a Gator Nationals, being number one qualifier, I'm pretty sure I set the record on the mile per hour record for inline 4 Suzuki, and then getting the win. I mean, I definitely set the bar high for myself as far as what I got to do next. Obviously, I want to try to repeat. That's always the goal, and go for the championship. So I mean, I got the team to do it. So I just got to keep my composure and go out there and have fun again and see what I could do. This last weekend, it was definitely I would say a Cinderella story type of way. It was a good weekend. I definitely didn't expect it to be like it was, but it was awesome.
Lee, remember Bobby Bennett was saying during preseason testing, he was like, my championship favorite or pick going into the season was Gage Herrera based on what he did in testing. And right off the bat, he showed what he can do.
Certainly a stellar start to the season and a championship run. But how do you think, what are your thoughts on what will be a mini break for Pro Stock Motorcycles? Because I'm looking at the schedule and you all are not at Arizona. You're not at Pomona. Not at the 4 wides until the Charlotte 4 wides. It's a 3-race break.
Yeah, I think having that break is good to a point, and then it's bad. We did a lot of testing. I think the first time we went testing was the beginning of February, and then we tested a little bit before Gainesville. So everyone's in the groove, to go racing, and then now we got a point where I think we got about almost 7 weeks off. So, but I mean, I think it's good for my team, for instance. They got a lot of time in the shop, coming out with the new billet cases, the new Gen 3 body. So they've been working hard all off season this last couple months. It's been nonstop for them. So I think it's for some teams it's good, and then for other teams, they're getting in the groove, and now they gotta take a little break. And so I think it's good and it's bad. We're all in the groove, ready to go racing, and now we got to stop getting a weight. So, but I'm definitely excited for Charlotte. That's going to be my first time at a 4 wide, so I'm definitely excited. It's going to be interesting.
And you've never raced 4 wide before, so I'm pretty sure, trying to get acclimated with the lights and everything like that and the staging, that's something you're going to, be looking forward to practicing, I guess, once we get to the 4 wide.
Yeah. I mean, a few different people have tried to explain it to me, but I think, I kind of got it, but I think once I'm there and actually see how it works, it's going to be wild,
Oh, it's wild. It's wild just from a media perspective, Darren and Gage. You're out there like, what lane we in? Oh, okay. Here's my car. Let me burn out. And you're filming like, okay, who's stage? What is going on? It is wild up there, especially for 4 wide. It's even more chaotic somehow than just typical 2 wide drag racing. Gage, Suzuki. And I look at Toyota. You look at what Toyota does. They do such a great job promoting their drivers. I'm curious, does Suzuki have anything in the bag with Vance and Hines? And the brand beyond just drag racing. Suzuki is just about everywhere in motorcycle racing. You know, can we see you at, you know, AMA, you know, TTs, flat track? Can we see you at Supercross? I mean, I don't know. Get on one. What does Suzuki do, if anything?
I mean, Suzuki's in everything. I mean, you know, they're in the Supercross, flat track, you know, road racing. So, I mean, I used to race dirt bikes when I was a kid, and then I got hurt a lot, and that's kind of what made me go to drag racing. You know, so I mean, we went to Daytona and you know, supported Ken Roxon and them with Suzuki, and that was pretty cool. So I mean, Suzuki's evolved in all kinds of motorsports. Sorry about that. Got a call, but yeah.
Happened to Chris Graves. What is it? These people are live. Stop calling these people.
So I love asking, you know, any racer this, you know, because it's like, you know, I have my favorite driver, you know, and I want to like know the people that you kind of looked up to once you were coming up. So, you know, outside of, you know, NHRA, who were some of kind of the riders you kind of looked up to and kind of idolized, and then some of the riders in NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle that you kind of were kind of fans up, growing up Pomona, watching and kind of rooted for?
I would say out of NHRA, you know, like I said, I used to race motocross to the point to where I almost I was at the point of going pro. You know, I wasn't like at the point, but it was a point where it was like a job. You know, I was practicing 3 times a week, racing on the weekends. So at that moment in time, I definitely looked up to Jerry McGrath and James Stewart, because you know those two are, to me, are the best out there. You know, they're the goats of supercross, motocross, and so I definitely looked up to them. As far as outside of drag racing, in drag racing, I definitely looked up to John Force. You know, I worked with I worked at SNS Engineering, which is Butch Severlow, and he was one of the original Over the Hill gang, Nitro funny car, the In and Out funny car, and he told me stories about what John Force, you know, went through to get where he's at today, and that takes a lot of drive, you know, a lot of commitment, and I mean he's made it now, and it's awesome to hear the stories and how he got to where he is today, and that's definitely an inspiration to keep pushing for a dream.
Lee, he mentioned Over the Hill gang, In and Out funny car. I'm officially.
I mean,
like I mean,
Pro Stock Motorcycle.
Rider,
racer, and we get Over the Hill gang. Wow, yeah,
Man.
that's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool, and I mean, yes, that is cool to hear that dropped on the show. So Vance and Hines, you haven't been with them long, you haven't worked with them long, but what is it like working with them? Like, I mean, I feel like Vance and Hines is like, you know, the empire of the pro stock motorcycle world. You know, I mean, I could see everybody like in white and black, and you know, I don't know, I get that idea. I mean, granted, you know, they've earned everything they've got, and they dominate the industry in so many ways, not just racing when it comes to motorcycles. So yeah, what's it like working for Vance and Hines?
I mean, it's awesome working with Vance Hines. You know, it's like one big family. You know, I mean, it's definitely not really. I wouldn't say it's. They made me feel very welcome. You know, from the get go. You know, from the moment I met Terry Vance, you know, it was very. I went in there nervous. You know, I was, like he said. You know, he could tell I was nervous. He's like, sit back, relax. You know, you're not being interrogated. Just, you know, I just want to get to know you. And you know, like I said, it's like a family working with those guys. I mean, they're the best out there, and there's a reason for it. You know, they put in a lot of hard work, and you know, just walking around that shop, seeing what they really do, you know, for motorsports all around. You know, I mean, they don't only just do stuff for drag racing; they do stuff for all kinds of stuff, and it really shows. You know, I mean, they put in a lot of work, and that's why they're where they're at today.
I don't know if you can see, but I got Matt Hines right behind me with Gary Selzy and Jim Yates and John Forrest right there. Right there. Yeah, Matt Hines. You know, the legend Matt Hines. But when you won the race on Sunday, Andrew, he was like, you know, you could hear him on NHRA.TV saying how Gaige is the man. You know, obviously, Andrew, he's a legend here in Pro Style Motorcycle. What is it like having a dude like that, you know, backing you and having your back, and you know, having like, you know, man, this dude, Andrew Hines, like sees the potential in me, gives me this shot, and, you know, wants to see me do well.
I mean, that right there, I mean, to me it's amazing. You know, having someone like Andrew Hines, you know, like he tells me all the time, you know, when he had COVID during the U.S. Nationals, and when he'd seen my first pass at the U.S. Nationals, you know, he said he's seen something in me, and just to hear him say that, you know, gives me a awesome feeling. You know, I'm just out here having fun. You know, I love to ride motorcycles. You know, from when dirt bike riding, dirt bike racing to now doing this. It's just I love to be on two wheels. I've been on two wheels since I was 3 years old. So um, to have to work with Andrew Hines it's amazing. You know, I mean, he's an awesome guy. Not only, you know, within the racing organization, but just overall, he's to work with the 6-time champ, it's awesome.
Gage Herrera, once again, congratulations on your Gator Nationals victory for Vance and Hines, for yourself, before a stellar TV crowd and for a stellar crowd there at the Gator Nationals. Before we let you go, anything else you might want to say or include us in on here on the Competition Plus Power Hour?
No, I mean, I'm very looking forward to the season and hope there's more to come.
After what we saw, I definitely expect more to come. Gage, thank you for your time, man.
Thank you.
Gage Herrera, Gator Nationals champion for Pro Stock Motorcycle. Donnie Kuntz, like what he says, the next Rookie of the Year by far as I see it. I think that is a great early prediction that Gage Herrera may very well be it in the NHRA.
So not only is he a SoCal boy, he's around my age. I'm 28. I believe I saw online he's 29. So young kid, you know, mentions Over the Hill Gang, In-N-Out Burger Funny Car. I mean, I'm a fan now.
That's cool. Like, I mean, motorcycle yet mentioning some Nitro of like legendary status and got the SoCal route. I mean, that's like drag racer through and through.
That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah. I like it. And then, like I said, he goes out there and waxes the field. Like I said, you know, I keep saying it's 668s, but that 203, you know, 0.49, sixth fastest speed in pro style motorcycle history. He was riding.
Yes, for sure, riding and got the job done. But, you know, Darren, and we're not done with drag racing. I know that, you know, Chris Graves announced the postponement of Funny Car Chaos. It was originally slated for this weekend, but it doesn't mean drag racing is not happening. Drag racing from here on out till things come to a close is happening essentially every weekend somewhere, and the NMRA will be at Orlando for their event. So Pro Mods, once again, Door Slammer guys, once again, will be running down in Florida, this time for points to start off running for a championship.
Awesome. And so, I'm sorry, you were just saying that, but Donnie Kuntz in the comments, he said, you guys remember the Kuntz and Clark Pro Stocker? Don was my uncle back in the day. Don Kuntz. That's crazy. I love it.
Love it.
I had no idea. I love it. Yeah, but no, like you said, there's drag racing all the time. We kicked off the season with the March meet just a few weeks ago, the Gator Nationals this weekend. Like you said, we got a race here this weekend in Funny Car Chaos. And in Phoenix, the Final Fall Nationals, drag racing is back, is alive, and we're in full swing, man. 2023, we're in full swing. Let's get after it.
Full swing. Darren, hey, give everybody the rundown once again. You did such a good job with it of all the live shows that they can catch on Competition Plus, on YouTube or on the Facebook page.
So, Tuesday nights, we have the Competition Plus Power Hour. That's the show where we talk to some of the greatest names and personalities in the world of drag racing, not just NHRA, but the world of drag racing. And then Wednesday nights, we have the nostalgia scene covered, the Heritage Series. We talk to some of the stars and cars of Frontage and Top Fuel Dragster, of Nostalgia Funny Car, of Fuel Alter. That is Kings of the Sport. That is every other Wednesday. Not every Wednesday night, every other Wednesday night. We're coming back with a show next Wednesday. And then Thursdays, the world-renowned Between the Slicks by my man, the Monday Morning Racer, Lee Craft. That is streaming live through Competition Plus's Facebook and also on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube and Facebook channel. And then for the first time, we had our first show this past Sunday, but now Sunday nights inside the NHRA, streaming live here on Competition Plus YouTube and Facebook. Inside the NHRA is a fun, chill, throwback type show where we come back after the national event, just a few hours after the national event. We come here, we break down all the highlights, go in depth, and, just, shout out the winners and everything, just break it all down, a sports center type vibe. So If you guys were joining us this past Sunday and you like what you saw, come back. We're going to do it again in Phoenix. So Phoenix, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time after the race in Phoenix. We're going to come here live and break down all the results from the final Arizona Nationals. So, yeah, like I said, we're like the sports center of drag racing now. We have live streaming pretty much every day of the week now. I love it.
I love it too. CompetitionPlus.com for everything you might want to know the drag racing world. Rumors, breaking, solid news that you can believe what you read on the internet. You might not be able to believe me or him, but you can believe what you read at least for sure. Darren, look, I have thoroughly enjoyed this episode of the Competition Plus Power Hour. Thank you to Chris Graves. Thank you to great Gage Herrera as our guest. And thank you to all of you that have watched, commented, liked, and shared. Tune back in Tuesday night for another episode of Competition Plus Power Hour. That's Darren Williams Jr. I'm Lee Craft, the Monday Morning Racer. This has been the Competition Plus Power Hour.
If you want to take your vehicle's performance to new heights, you got to give it P. Like our original equipment technology, antifreeze, and coolant. Our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle. That's one reason why Peak is among the fastest growing brands of coolant in America. We work harder to earn the trust of people like you every day.